In the world of professional wrestling, some names become legends, but only one man ever truly redefined the word giant. He was larger than life in every way, a living marvel whose presence could fill an arena before he even stepped inside. His story is one of struggle, triumph, pain, and unmatched greatness. Welcome to World Wrestlers History, where we uncover the unforgettable lives of wrestling's greatest icons. Today, we begin the extraordinary journey of a man who became known around the globe as André the Giant. This is The Making of a Giant, Part 1. First Place Medal Part 1, The Making of a Giant. André René Roussimoff entered the world on May 19, 1946, in the quiet French village of Colomiers. His parents, Boris and Marianne, were hard-working farmers of Bulgarian and Polish descent. André was their third of 5 children, and at first nothing about him seemed unusual. But destiny had already chosen a different path. By the age of 4, André was noticeably larger than other children. At 12, he stood over 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighed close to 200 pounds, the size of a grown man while still a schoolboy. Teachers struggled to find desks big enough for him. Classmates marveled at his size but soon discovered a truth that followed André his entire life. Behind the towering frame was a gentle, soft-spoken boy. What his family didn't yet understand was that André suffered from a rare condition known as acromegaly, a disorder that causes the body to release excess growth hormone. Instead of stopping in his late teens like most boys, André's bones and organs would continue to grow, pushing his body beyond normal limits and slowly straining his heart. There was no cure that doctors of the time could safely offer, and André would later choose to face life exactly as he was, without surgery, without fear. Life in rural France was simple but demanding. André's size, though remarkable, proved useful on the farm. He could lift heavy sacks of grain alone, move large barrels, and handle tasks that normally required several men. But everyday life also posed constant obstacles. Buses were too small, chairs too fragile, and shoes impossible to find in his size. To reach school, André often rode in the back of a neighbor's truck because he simply didn't fit inside a car. By 14, André decided to leave school and work full-time to help his family. He labored in the fields and on construction sites, where he quickly earned a reputation for superhuman strength. Foremen told stories of the young man who could lift wooden beams or stone blocks that normally required 3 workers. The legend of the French giant spread across the countryside. It was during these years that fate intervened. A local wrestler and promoter named Frank Valois heard about the enormous young laborer and sought him out. Valois immediately saw something extraordinary. He offered to train André for professional wrestling, a profession where size wasn't a burden but a ticket to stardom. At first, André hesitated. He was shy and had never dreamed of performing for crowds. But Valois promised him travel, excitement, and a future beyond the farm. With encouragement from family and friends, André accepted. Training under Valois in Paris, André learned the fundamentals of wrestling, footwork, holds, and how to move his massive frame with surprising agility. By 1966, at just 20 years old, he stepped into the ring for his professional debut under the name Jean Ferret, a nod to a legendary French giant of folklore. Crowds across Europe were stunned. Here was a man nearly 7 feet tall who could run the ropes, leap for dropkicks, and wrestle for long matches without tiring. Fans didn't just see a big man, they saw an athlete. André's fame grew rapidly, taking him from Paris to Germany, the United Kingdom, and eventually Japan, where he wrestled as Monster Roussimoff. Japanese audiences, fascinated by larger-than-life characters, flocked to see him. It was in Japan that doctors finally diagnosed him with acromegaly, explaining the risks and offering dangerous surgery to halt his growth. André declined. He would live life on his own terms, even if it meant carrying the pain of a body that never stopped growing. From Japan, André set his sights on North America. By the early 1970s, he arrived in Montreal, Canada, where promoter Frank Tunney introduced him as André the Giant. The name fit perfectly and would stay with him forever. Canadian fans were mesmerized. Arena after arena sold out as newspapers hailed him, the eighth wonder of the world. Word of this phenomenon soon reached Vince McMahon Sr., the powerful promoter of the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, the company that would one day become WWE. McMahon recognized that André was more than a wrestler, he was an attraction capable of drawing record crowds. But McMahon also understood that the magic of a giant lay in mystery. He carefully booked André to travel from territory to territory, New York, Texas, Florida, California, always leaving fans wanting more and ensuring he rarely lost in public. Each appearance felt like a once-in-a-lifetime event. Throughout the 1970s, André became the most sought-after performer in wrestling. He wrestled in more than 40 countries, facing legends such as Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, and Mil Mascaras. Everywhere he went, he brought an air of awe and excitement. For a man who weighed over 450 pounds, André moved with astonishing grace. His powerful chops echoed like thunder. His crushing bear hug could squeeze the breath from the strongest opponents. Fans didn't just watch a match, they experienced a spectacle. Life on the road, however, was far from easy. Airplane seats were too small, hotel beds too short, and restaurant chairs often collapsed under his weight. André frequently purchased two plane seats just to travel in relative comfort. Despite these hardships, he remained cheerful and friendly, earning a reputation as the gentle giant. His legendary drinking feats, stories of 100 beers in a single night, became part of wrestling folklore. For André, alcohol was not recklessness, it was a way to ease the constant pain in his joints and spine, pain he rarely admitted to anyone. By the close of the 1970s, André the Giant was a global icon. He had conquered Europe, dazzled Japan, and dominated North America. But even giants cannot outrun time. The relentless growth caused by acromegaly was beginning to wear on his body. His back ached constantly, and doctors warned of serious heart risks. Still, André pressed on, determined to give fans the show they came to see. What awaited him in the next decade would define not only his career but the entire sport of professional wrestling. The 1980s would bring the birth of WrestleMania, a shocking betrayal of friendship, and the single most famous match of his life. Narrator, you. André the Giant had already traveled the world, filled arenas, and captured hearts. But the greatest chapters of his story, the battles that would etch his name into history, were still to come. In our next episode, we'll witness André's rise to WWF megastardom, his unforgettable clash with Hulk Hogan, his venture into Hollywood, and the final years of a man whose legend only grew after his passing. This has been The Making of a Giant, Part 1. Thank you for joining World Wrestlers History. If you enjoyed this journey into wrestling's past, like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss Part 2, The Legend Lives Forever.